All right, let's dive in. Today we're tackling global tech and trade.
Buckle up.
Yeah, some serious high-stakes maneuvering going on.
Absolutely, and we've got news clips, analyses, the 4 9 yards.
Your mission. You're walking into a big meeting.
Need to sound like an insider.
Exactly. Informed, insightful.
Without getting lost in the weeds.
Perfect. So let's start with China.
Always a good place to start.
Xi Jinping met with some major tech CEOs.
Alibaba, Tencent, big names.
Yeah, and CNBC called it incredibly rare.
Which tells you something right there.
Definitely. She's been, well, not super pro-private sector lately.
There's been that push towards state control, remember?
Yeah, and investors got spooked.
Makes sense.
So now she's saying, feel reassured, free to display your talents.
Trying to calm those nerves.
Right, but is it a real policy shift or just talk?
Well, it's a balancing act, isn't it?
I guess so.
They want to be a tech leader, but...
But control is key.
Exactly. Remember Jack Ma?
Alibaba founder, right?
Disappeared for a while after criticizing regulation.
Sending a message.
Loud and clear.
So she needs these companies, but on his terms.
And the market reaction was fascinating.
CNBC said investors were bidding up stocks of those invited.
And selling off those who weren't.
Wow, so even a hint of favoritism.
Huge impact.
Okay, so key takeaway on China's tech ambition.
It's all about control. They'll encourage innovation, but
crack down hard if needed.
Exactly. High-stakes game rules can change fast.
Got it. So that's China. Let's hop over to the U.S. now.
Completely different, but just as interesting.
You said it. Our sources are buzzing about Trump and tariffs.
His favorite tool.
Cars, semiconductors, pharmaceuticals.
He's threatening them all.
Like, invest here or pay the price.
That's one way to put it.
But it creates a ton of uncertainty, right?
Absolutely. Businesses need to plan long-term.
And they can't when tariffs might pop up any minute.
Right. And that affects the global economy, too.
Companies hesitate. Consumers pay more. Supply chains disrupted.
The whole shebang.
So if you were running a company, how would you react?
Tough question. Invest in the U.S., hope the tariffs go away.
Or diversify and risk losing the American market.
Tricky either way.
So key difference between China and the U.S.
China's about control, Trump's about using economic power.
To force concessions.
Exactly. Two very different approaches.
Both disruptive.
And both make it hard to navigate the global tech landscape.
Agreed. Okay, so we've got these two giants vying for dominance.
Each with their own playbook.
Now let's zoom in on one industry where it's really heating up.
Semiconductors.
Tiny chips. Huge impact.
The heart of this tech Cold War.
The brains behind everything, smartphones, self-driving cars.
You name it.
And at the heart of this tech Cold War.
Absolutely intertwined. You can't separate them anymore.
Okay, so in that meeting, someone brings up semiconductors.
What's the quick elevator pitch?
Yeah, why is everyone freaking out about them?
Whoever controls the chips controls the future. Simple as that.
Okay, bold statement.
But think about it. AI 5G networks.
Even military tech.
All rely on these chips, and they just keep getting more complex.
So the stakes are high, got it.
Very high.
Now, throw in a curveball, Intel, the American giant.
The one who used to rule the roost.
They're struggling.
Big time. They're falling behind, especially in Asia.
And that's created an opening?
For some hungry competitors.
Like who?
Broadcom and TSMC, they're circling.
Broadcom, I know them, the U.S. company, right?
Yeah, and TSMC, they're Taiwanese.
Okay, so what are they after?
Different pieces of the pie. Broadcom wants Intel's design arm.
Design arm.
Yeah, the brains of the operation, basically.
Oh, okay.
And TSMC, they're eyeing the manufacturing facilities.
Hold on, break that down for me. Design versus manufacture.
Sure, think of it like an architect and a construction company.
Okay, I'm listening.
The architect designs the building, draws up the blueprints.
That's the chip design.
Right, the circuitry, how it all works.
And then the construction company actually builds it.
That's the manufacturing, taking those designs and etching them onto silicon.
Onto the actual chips.
Bingo.
Okay, so Broadcom gets the brains, TSMC gets the factories.
And both moves shake up the industry in a big way.
How so?
Broadcom gets a leg up in data centers, AI, all the hot markets.
And TSMC?
They become even more dominant in manufacturing.
Already the biggest, right?
Pretty much.
But this isn't just business, though, is it?
Oh, no, there's a ton of political stuff mixed in here.
Especially with TSMC maybe taking over Intel's U.S. factories.
That's a big one.
Cue the tech Cold War music.
Exactly. The U.S. government is not thrilled about this.
Foreign company controlling such a vital asset.
Big no-no for them. National security concerns, job losses.
And losing American technological leadership.
They're trying to find a balance, economic interests versus national security.
TSMC wants to expand, Intel might be willing to sell.
And the U.S. government is stuck in the middle.
Yeah, trying to figure out what to do.
It's a mess, but it shows you how tech and geopolitics are intertwined.
Totally, and the stakes are incredibly high.
For everyone involved.
So say you're in that meeting. How do you sound smart on this Intel TSMC thing?
I'd focus on the U.S. government's dilemma.
They're in a tough spot.
Yeah, they want American leadership, but TSMC is a key partner too.
So what do?
No easy answers. The outcome of this deal is huge for the whole industry.
Right, so we've got China's control tactics, Trump's tariffs.
And this semiconductor drama?
Oh, and one more thing.
Can't forget that.
The war in Ukraine that's adding another layer of complexity.
Throwing a wrench into everything.
We were talking about energy markets.
Yeah, the conflict is really messing with those.
And that has a domino effect on tech too, right? Our source, How the U.S.-Russia Talks Could Impact Oil Markets, pointed that out.
Yeah, it's a mess, prices spiking, countries scrambling for alternatives.
And that hits tech in a bunch of ways, right?
Oh yeah, manufacturing costs, availability of resources for data centers.
So in that meeting, Ukraine comes up. What's your go-to insight?
It shows you how interconnected everything is.
Right. What happens in one place affects everything else.
Exactly. Disruptions and energy cascade through other industries like tech.
Makes you think about diversifying supply chains, being prepared for shocks.
Absolutely.
So it's not just a U.S.-China tech Cold War anymore.
It's bigger than that.
A whole geopolitical shift affecting the entire global economy.
And anyone in tech needs to get that.
Investing, developing, just staying informed.
Geopolitics matters now more than ever.
All right, so we've covered a lot: China's control versus innovation.
Trump's tariffs, the semiconductor battle.
And the ripple effects from Ukraine.
A lot to digest.
If you had to boil it down to key takeaways for our listener.
What would they be?
Yeah, heading into that big meeting.
First thing, buckle up. The tech landscape is volatile.
No more playing by the old rules.
Exactly. Companies, investors gotta be ready for anything.
Adapt or die, basically.
Pretty much. Second takeaway, geopolitics is key.
Can't just focus on the tech itself.
You have to understand the political forces at play.
Trade wars, sanctions, conflicts.
They can all disrupt supply chains, change. Markets reshape the whole industry.
Sounds like uncertainty is the new normal.
You got it. China's stance, Trump moves, the geopolitical scene.
So many unknowns.
Companies and investors need to be comfortable with that.
And have strategies that can adapt.
Agility, foresight, a deep understanding of what's happening.
And a healthy dose of skepticism, probably.
Always helps.
Well, I think we've armed our listener for that meeting.
Gave him plenty to think about.
It's a complex world out there.
But knowledge and a critical eye will take you, though.
Couldn't agree more. To our listener, good luck with that meeting.
Knock 'em dead.
And remember, the more you understand about the forces shaping the world,
The better decisions you'll make.
absolutely. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll catch you next time.